Steel's Q3 numbers that have come in. I think all in all, it does look like a decent set. On my screen, I do have the top line growth, top line number rather, which has come in at approximately 41,219 crore rupees. I think that has, and I'm going to ask my producer as well to show the scorecard. I think that has been able to beat expectations, done very well on that front. However, when I do look at the margins, it's come in at 16.3%. Now, that's not a very nice number. It's come in below expectations. In fact, we were expecting an expansion to come by, but this time around margins have been slightly weak. There's been a compression of approximately 700 basis points and below expectations. Even the profit figure for that matter at 1753 versus our own expectations of approximately 2,290 crore rupees has come in below expectations. So while on the revenue front it's done well, and I think it must have to do with the fact that they've been able to manage their product mix, etc. well, on the margin front, I think that's where the disappointment has come in. We have with us Gaurang Shah to talk about the Q3 numbers. Gaurang, would you agree the margin, I mean, especially after JSW and JSPL did do very well on their margins, Tata Steel not doing very well, would you say it's a bit of a disappointment?
A marginal disappointment, I would say. Nothing really, large cause of concern. Not to forget, the backdrop of environment, Mubina, in terms of the international commodity prices, wherein which we've seen a little bit of downward move, thanks to the trade war initiated between, large trade war between US and China. My sense is that if a little bit more detailed on per ton, what is the kind of realizations in terms of dollar term, we'll have a little bit of more clarity. But we also had Tata Steel acquiring Bhushan Steel, so maybe there is a little bit of drag over there as well. As a disclosure, we do have a long-term positive buy call on Tata Steel. So I think a breakup of, these are all consolidated numbers that we are seeing. If we get the breakup, I think that should possibly make us understand a little bit.
Gaurang, yes, you're right. And that's the reason why I think I've been able to procure the press release now. So we have the Tata Steel India EBITDA per ton. It's coming at 16,400 rupees per ton. This is the standalone EBITDA per ton. And Bhushan Steel's EBITDA for the quarter was at 1,008 crore rupees. That's at 20.6%, the margins roughly. So what would you make of this? And then we can talk about the other businesses.
So again, slightly in line with what our estimates were, what we were penciling down. I don't think there is going to be much huge negative reaction on the counter when we get back to trade next week, Monday morning. And if we have already seen some amount of correction coming into the entire metal pack. So I don't think these numbers would translate into a little bit of more downside. In case if you do get that, Mubina, like I said, we do have a positive call. And we remain extremely positive on the domestic consumption, which is likely to see an uptick.
Gaurang, would you be happy with the way Bhushan Steel has been performing? I mean, in the last quarter, it contributed positively. I think this quarter as well, it seems to be pretty okay. Would you be happy with the way they've been able to integrate, Bhushan Steel and really get into the plant and sort of fix the, the nicks and, the little bit of cricks that may have perhaps caused Bhushan Steel to become a NP in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, I was wondering what was the earlier management doing with the company. If this is the turnaround that Tata Steel has managed to get within, just a quarter or two. And most important part, Mubina, I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. I think the, per annum capacity that Bhushan Steel has, I think there's a great, possibility of increasing to a higher level as and when the demand starts moving upwards. And that too not with a huge capital investment. So I think the acquisition has augured well, and over the next couple of quarters, synergies should be out even much more better.
Okay. On a further deep dive, the revenue for India has actually grown very, very smartly, 41%. And they are attributing it to higher volumes and better realizations. Now, I think overall the outlook for India Steel was a bit weak during October to December. So what do you think has made Tata Steel? I mean, clearly, I think they've done very well in their realization, but even volumes actually has not been that bad because you have 34% jump over there. But do you think this is more volume-led or is it more realization-led?
I think it could be operational efficiencies also. And like I was mentioning, I think the domestic consumption is likely to throw in positivity. And I think slowly and steadily, Mubina, as we have capex also, coming in, demand for metal and cement is likely to grow up to a much more higher level on the commodity side. So we remain extremely positive on both the sectors, metal as well as cement. And of course, Tata Steel, I think there should be much more synergies going forward with integration of Bhushan Steel as well.
Interestingly, this time around, they've not mentioned anything in their press release with respect to the European operations. And given the fact that India has done well, I think it concludes, it leads one to conclude that European operations have not done well, which is perhaps the reason why the consolidated revenue is a tad bit lower. It's underperformed compared to what India has done. What do you make of the European business? There's not an iota of information at this point of time in the press release, at least from what I can see.
Yeah, even I was wondering how come there's not been any kind of a statement over there, Mobina. But yes, Europe has gone through a difficult time, and of course you have the overhang of Brexit as well, which may possibly lead to a little bit of more uncertainty in that part of the world, given the kind of issues countries have to deal with. So I think European side, there should be a little bit of concern, at least from short to medium term, unless we get some more clarity.
Okay, so Gaurang, if you had to, ask a few questions to the management, let's say 3 questions on the Q3 numbers, what would that be?
So first of all, how are they going to fully integrate Bhushan Steel, and what is the scalability of capex going forward from here on, and how further they expect the contribution to come through? Domestic market, what is the outlook? And of course, in the European side, because we had an issue with Tata Steel when they acquired Chorus a while back, Mobina. So in terms of the demand outlook, what is the scenario over there?
Gaurang, thanks so much. So all